Okay,
Live.
we're live. All right,
Yeah.
everybody, welcome to another episode of Ask the Expert. And here for the month of April, we're looking at the surrounding areas of New York, and we have Xander Olderthorpe of the Olderthorpe Group, also with Compass, and he's going to talk to us about the hot areas of New Jersey and what's going on. So, Xander, thank you so much again for joining us today. I know everybody's super busy. It's always a treat to have you on.
Yeah, Martin, thanks. It's as I said earlier, it's good to see that smiling face. You got the best smile in the world, and thanks again for having me back on the show. I think last we spoke, we were just getting out of shutdowns, and the real estate market was starting to pick up a little bit. And who would have thought, a year out from that point, the market would still be hot and maybe even hotter than it was then. It's been crazy, and I've always been a big believer that the suburban real estate market, especially in the areas I cover, Summit, Chatham, Madison, Milburn, Maplewood, they're awesome towns. And I didn't think we needed to have a pandemic in order for everybody to realize how great they are. But here we are, and everybody wants homes. And we've got people, waiting out the door, trying to get into houses. And I've got clients that are, FaceTiming. I've got an appointment tomorrow where they're going to FaceTime, actually moving up from Florida. They've written 2 offers without seeing the house, have lost on multiple offers. One had 14, one had 6. So the market is just on fire, and it's incredible. It's great. It's great for all the homeowners here.
Wow, that's great. So yeah, maybe give us a little bit of a recap over the last 12 months, right? So things started to shut down kind of the last 2 weeks of March. Now, did you guys completely shut down? Were you kind of able to show remotely, or how did that kind of second quarter go for you guys out there?
Thankfully we were considered essential. So
Okay.
we were able to show homes, and we were able to work the whole time in New Jersey. I think most people were very cautious and concerned and not looking to get out and view homes or have their homes be shown. So I would say March and April were dead. Everyone was hunkered down. And in May,
Okay.
people started, in that March and April timeframe, people were trying to get out of deals, right? Because they thought the world was falling. Real estate markets are going to plunge like the stock market did.
Right.
I think all of those people that stayed in contract at that point are counting their lucky blessings, because the
Right.
market's probably gone up 20% since then. And isn't that interesting? I mean, so many people think that the real estate market is tied to the equity market.
Right.
Which really is just not the case, right? That it's very clear that that's not the case. The markets went down 20%, and the real estate market stayed stable and probably went up 20%. Obviously, since then it's climbed up. So those 2 months were quiet, and then May, June, July, August, all the way through the year have been very busy. I mean, our business was up 50%.
That's
and
incredible.
and what we saw, like, and what we were hearing was there's an inventory problem. We're short on inventory. There's not enough supply.
Mm-hmm.
Which looking at the market at a singular moment and comparing that month to the previous month's current available inventory, that would have been the case, or that was the case. But what we saw at the end of the year was that every single town that we work in
Uh-huh.
sold the most homes ever, going back to
Wow.
2004. So, and a lot of these towns were up, like from 2019 to 2020, there was like
Mm-hmm.
50% more homes that sold. One of the towns that
Wow.
I cover, Summit, I think they had, it was 200 and roughly like 60 houses that sold in 2019 and 358 sold in 2020. So I don't think it was an inventory problem or a supply problem. I think the problem was a demand problem. There was just so much demand that any home that came on the market disappeared.
Right. That makes sense. Now, were people first trying to rent and then slowly to buy, or were they out ready to buy right away, or what was kind of the pulse that you got with buyers out there?
Yeah, I mean, this market is not it's definitely not a vacation type market or a transient type market. So we did not
Mm-hmm.
have a lot of rent. There were some renters coming out, but there wasn't much to be available. Most people were willing to commit and buy their homes right away. And I had 2 clients. I mean, it was just amazing that they were living in the city. They were in
Uh-huh.
their late 20s, early 30s. Both were engaged. Neither had kids, and they both bought $2 million houses out here. So think about that.
Wow.
They're coming out of the city. They're not even married. They don't have kids, and they're buying $2 million homes. And I think what happened was it just accelerated, this kind of natural trend of people having, 1 kid, 2 kids, and then saying, all right, now I'm going to move from the city to suburbia. What happened was, the pandemic happened, and people were so encouraged and excited to get more space that they
Hmm.
accelerated their time frame to buy out here.
That makes sense. And that's kind of what I said too. Everybody that, had kind of a 5-year plan to leave the city did so in the last 9 months. So it was, somewhat accelerated on that. Is demand still on at the same level it was, or has it calmed down a little bit, or what's kind of the moment right now?
Yeah, it's funny it's funny how you asked the question, and that A and B is it the same as it was, or is it not as much? The answer is it's actually neither. It's more, which is
Wow.
which is surprising. I mean, there's homes that are getting 10 offers, 20 offers, even 40 offers, and the demand is far greater than it was at any point last year. And
Wow.
what we are seeing is the under contract and units sold year to date comparing to last year are up anywhere from 25 to 75%. Right. So the under
Wow.
contract's up, and where the real problem is the supply. The supply is down like 50 to 70%. So you just have
Amazing.
demand that's skyrocketing like this, and supply is going down. And I don't know at what point it gets back to being equal. But every house that, like, what we're doing now is I've got 6 listings coming on in the next 2 weeks, and
Uh-huh.
all of our marketing is geared towards listing the house, pre-marketing the house for a week. We list
Hmm.
the house on a Friday. Homeowner, please vacate the house for the weekend because you're going to have a ton
Right.
of showings.
Send them to a
When you come
hotel.
back, you come back, we'll have a conversation Monday, and we'll have multiple offers, and you'll be done. And it's 48 hours out of the home, and you get multiple offers. Where before it was, you're on the market for 60 days. It's going to be very difficult showing the house, keeping it clean, having you work
Right.
from home, and it's crazy.
So what kind of advice would you give to both sellers, and then I'll ask about buyers, but it sounds like that if you were ever thinking of selling, this sounds like it's the best time to sell in a very, very long time.
Yes, it is. And amazingly, it's some of the prices we have right now are not even back to what some of the prices were, call it pre-financial crisis.
Okay.
We're kind of getting back to that point. So I think you're right, though. I think you can say unequivocally that this is the best time to sell. The response that you get, and Martin, I'm sure you get it all the time, is, well, if I sold my house, where would I go?
Right.
So thankfully not every single person is leaving the state and going to Florida. I mean, we have this, urban
Yeah.
migration where we are, and this migration from suburbia down to, the Nashvilles, the Austin, Texas, Florida.
Hmm.
Um, but, I think if you have a place to go, or if you're ready to make a move, the advice that I have for that person that says, I'd sell my house, I'd love to take advantage of the market, but I don't know where I would go. It's, well, let us come and have a conversation with you. Let us tell you what the house is worth today.
Right.
Explain what you're looking for in a home, right? Tell me what, how many beds, bath, town, price. Let us do what we call like a needs analysis, and truly understand what you're looking for. We will give you information on what's available, what has sold, so you get a good sense of what you can expect in the market. And then what we do often for those clients that don't know where they would go if they want to take advantage of the market is, we try to turn over some stones for them and find houses before they hit the market, before they come on the market. So last year we sold 183 homes, and 19 of those homes were purchased off market, never hit the market.
Wow.
And that's what we would try to do for that seller that doesn't know where they're going to go. But if you have any desire to sell within the next year, I can't imagine a better time, but I said that last year too, and here we are, and it's a better time than it was last year. But any home that comes on, the expectation from buyers is let me get in as fast as I can. And before buyers are even seeing homes, the
Mhm.
day the home is listed, it's what's the multiple offer process going to be. So the
Wow.
buyers are just conditioned now to expect multiple offers. And sellers are not only in such a good position of getting the most amount of money, but oftentimes it's the easiest sale they can imagine because they can write the scripts, right? They can say you
Right.
can only see the house Saturday and Sunday. You can only see it, Thursday and Friday after this time. And we're actually seeing houses before they even get listed. Somebody will write an offer contingent on seeing the home. So before it hits the market, they'll say, listen, it's listed for 900,000. I'll pay you $1 million, but it's contingent upon me getting in to see the house.
Wow. That's it. So, and then we talked last time, you talked a little bit about people kind of like, the quote unquote, the near suburbs, near New York, and then kind of the next ring out. Are some sellers moving out one further ring out? They don't have to realize they don't have to be in the office that much, or?
Yeah, absolutely. You definitely have the move from, call it the person that's been living, and a lot of our market is driven from the person that moves from, the Gold Coast, Hoboken, Jersey City, and then, Manhattan and Brooklyn. They come out here and they buy in these, direct train line towns. So the towns that we work
Right.
in, anywhere from 30 to 50 minutes by train to Penn Station. So we have a lot of people moving out of the city to these areas because for them it's a further commute, right? They're going from a 10 to 20-minute
Right.
commute now to an hour, but they're getting more space for the same price. And those people that are living in those homes that are 30 to 45 minutes are going out to that second ring.
Got it.
And that second ring of towns would be Harding, Bernardsville, Basking Ridge, Chester, Morse Township, and those markets have been unbelievably stale. I was just talking to somebody yesterday
Interesting.
about it, and you'd have people that would be 2 miles away from a highway, and these are very rural areas, so it's
Mhm.
unbelievably quiet. 2 miles from a highway, and they would sit in there dead quiet and say, I think I can hear the highway. Now they'll be on top of the highway and say, this doesn't bother me. I'll take this home.
Wow. That's
So the
so
market
funny.
out there is just as strong because those homes were often the homes that you would buy if you were like kind of living for the weekends, right? You were working really
Got
hard
it.
Monday to Friday, and you'd buy that house so that you could have the great pool in the backyard. You'd have 3 to 5 acres. And
Mhm.
now if you're only commuting into the city, 2 to 3 days a week or not at all, that home becomes a lot more attractive. And what we've also seen is, with the schools being shut down, many of them, the public schools either being shut down or virtual learning, many of the private schools have been open full time. So they're looking to go out further westward. Houses are less expensive and taxes are less to have money to pay for their kids to go to a private school. The private school applications are the highest they've ever been. So you're seeing people that are moving out of the more expensive towns and taxes to less expensive towns and taxes to afford their kids to go to private school.
Oh, that makes sense. What tips do you have for buyers in this market? I mean, it sounds daunting. Do you have like how do you manage expectations or frustration or all that stuff?
Well, I think the most important thing is obviously to hire a really good agent, not try to do it on your own. I think a lot of people think that in this
Hmm.
market they're going to have some advantage by going directly to listing agents. And I think in this market you want to have an agent that really has a pulse. And you don't want to work with the agent that covers 20. As a buyer, you don't want to be looking in 20 different towns. You need to.
Right.
You can start your funnel high, maybe let a real estate agent, allow you to have a big funnel and then get you focused on a price range or in a community or in a town. And once you get really focused in there, you need to have an agent that is able to tell you about homes that are off market, tell you about homes before they come on the market, get you into houses. But I think it's getting prepared, right? It's before you're
Hmm.
ready to buy, it's having conversations with the real estate agent, right? Having conversations with your mortgage broker, getting fully pre-qualified. So understanding what it looks like if you're waiving the appraisal contingency, understand what, limiting an inspection contingency looks like. You need to have somebody that is on your side, advocating for you, aggressively looking for homes for you, being creative for you. And I think you see it with a lot of these buyers that what they're saying is, I don't want to buy at the top of the market. And, Martin, that we can't predict if we're at the top of the market now, but we would have thought we were there last year, and it continues to increase. And there's no way we're at the top of the market now if we're getting homes that are selling. Most homes are selling over list price with multiple offers. The demand is far outpacing the supply. And I would guess that stays this way for a long time. So with that, the prices have to continue to increase, and the interest rates are so low.
Right.
So, I think the advice is really just to get an education early on, hire a good agent that knows the local market well.
I think that's really good advice. I find that too, because, as a when I have listing agent here in the city and there's direct buyers that come in, most of the time they underbid on the property because they don't know what the comps are and what things are going, right? And then I think it's really a good idea. A lot of these experienced buyer agents will know what that, remember when the house was for sale 10, 15 years ago, and they can, tell you that photos are going there and saying, oh yeah, I remember this, but they added this addition and they changed this room and that room. This is a great house. And that may give you the confidence for a limited inspection or that type of thing.
Yeah.
So I think that's really good. Now, what, here in New York, when the market is super hot and we're not there yet, but it is very, very active. A lot of times we say that buyers have to lose out on 2 or 3 bids before they get one. Are you finding that with buyers that they kind of have to, a little bit of a learning curve, that maybe the first bid is sort of at the asking price, the second bid's a little bit more, and then they realize the game is you have to come in a lot more? Are you finding it that way?
Yeah, not with everybody, but
Okay.
definitely some. I don't, I think, yes. I mean, I think some buyers have to be, call it, calloused a little bit by the experience and letting their heart be broken on a few homes, and it's really hard, right? It's really tough when you're in a multiple offer situation, to know what to offer. If a house is if it's listed for $700,000, you pay them, you offer 770, and you're number 5 out of 10 offers. It's like, well, what do I do next? Do I pay them, 200,000 over the list price? And the answer may be yes. And
Right.
But that's not for everybody. I don't want to have, buyers think that that's the market for every home. There's definitely opportunities out there. And it's interesting, any home that doesn't sell in the first week or two always gets the question, why hasn't it sold? I don't want to be the one to buy it. So there are opportunities out there of these houses that have sat for a while. The buyers have overlooked it, are not reconsidering it, and it needs to be revisited. Like I have a few of those homes that I've got clients that I'm trying to get them re-excited about, but they ask the question, well, if it didn't sell in this market, there must be something wrong with it. What am I missing? And the only thing they're missing is it was originally overpriced to begin with. And these homes take 5% reduction, 10% reduction, and now it's priced arguably below market.
Interesting.
So there are opportunities. It's not one where you're going to be in multiple offers 10 different times to finally get your house. And
okay,
I think, Martin, we're trying to, we want to encourage our clients. We play psychology, and we want to keep their faith, keep their belief that it's going to work out, keep them positive, and not have them shut down and say, I'm just going to go rent a place, or I'm just not going to move. That's definitely the goal of what we want to do.
Fair enough. So this is the time of the show where you get to show us some recent sales that you've had, to kind of show us kind of what's going on with the market out there. And I think, Jared, you made him a co-host, right?
Sure.
I did. Yep.
I will share my screen. Maybe.
Again, Xander has 6 listings coming up, so we will give you all the contact information at the end of the show, so reach out to him. But I'm excited to see what's going on out there, Xander.
Jared, I'm hitting the
green button. You got it?
Yeah, for some reason it's not working though. So we may not be able to see properties.
No, we can do this. Hold on. So you're doing the green button and then desktop.
Yep, desktop 1, hit share. It says open system preferences.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, that's on your end. So
Yeah.
you might have to allow Zoom on your system preferences.
Oh, okay.
That's all right. This is our high-tech commercial break
Right.
for a minute or so. Right?
Yeah.
Everything that's going on.
Let me see.
Interestingly enough, it was a little cold out today. It was warmer earlier this cold out.
All right, here we go. I think I got
Yeah,
it.
it looks beautiful where you're
Oh,
at.
here we are.
There we go.
Well, you know.
How about that? We figured it out.
Yay.
Yay.
Xander is also a high-tech savvy agent, which is
That's right.
an extra level of distinguishment.
All right, so let me open this up here. So this is a home that just sold actually. So Martin asked me to pull up some homes that have that are active on the market, and you know, we normally carry 15 to 30 listings at a time, and right now I don't have any listings. I've got 6 coming on in the next week, but it's one of those markets where houses just don't sit on the market. So this is a house that just closed today, about 2 hours ago. 27
So this was
Street.
okay, and it was listed for. I don't have my readers on.
Yeah,
How much
sure
was it
enough.
listed?
So it's listed for $649.
Okay.
We ended up getting 4 offers, and it sold for $670. It's 3 beds, 1.5 baths. You know, it's a cute little kind of colonial, front porch.
That's great, and I also think that's really encouraging, right? So it wasn't like listed for 6 something and sold for 1.5 million.
Yeah, so 4% over list price. You know, it's got a lot of. It has this is the family room or living room. Then you've got a dining room here on the first floor, and then
Nice.
the kitchen. So it's family room, dining room, kitchen, and then 3 beds upstairs. There's the master, kids room. This is a bedroom. They set it up as like a second floor family room, and then they had a 3rd floor loft, which a lot of their kids slept in or had sleepovers in, and they had.
That looks like fun. What town was this in, Xander?
Yeah, this is in Chatham.
Okay.
This is these pictures were taken when we had about after 2 feet. A little bit different.
That's a really cute house.
It is. It was a great house. It's great, great energy in it. It was staged really nice, and and a great family. And so interestingly with that house, like those sellers closed today, and they're doing a use and occupancy in that home. So they're going to stay in the house, the sellers, and that's just how good of a market it is. The sellers, that was just the same story. They left the house at 3:00 on a Friday, came back late Sunday night. We had 4 offers. They totally wrote this script on, we want to close April 22nd, and we want to lease it back until the end of June. So they're going to stay in there, which affords them to go out and have cash and go buy another home. But it was a great house. That house was walk to town, walk to train. So that's kind of nice. Like your entry point price. It's $640.
That's a great value.
Was in Chatham. So this is in Maplewood, and we're seeing a lot of people coming out from the city. Most homes in Maplewood sold over list price. This house did not. This was listed for $1,285,000 and is under contract for $1,285,000.
Okay.
This is one of the nicer streets in town. This is an old home. Let me go back to give you the details of it. It's a 5-bed, 4.5 bath house. 3 beds in the second floor, 2 on the third. It's an older house built in the early 1900s. Has a lot of character. Everything's about, the kitchen and bathrooms are about 15, 20 years old. Had this nice sun porch, office playroom here. You can see the details, or the nice staircase.
Very nice.
Master bedroom.
And the lot looked big on this. Was this a standard lot, or was it a little bit bigger, Xander?
Yeah, it was about 1/4 of an acre. So what they did in this house, here's the lot right here. So it wasn't too big. But what they did in this house, you can see this is the garage back there on the left. They turned it into this. So they had a gym.
Wow.
which was pretty cool, right? A lot of people in the town are doing these bars in their garages, which is kind of neat. Instead of going out to restaurants, it's not as easy to turn the garages into bars, sorry. And then this is a
That's very
house.
cool.
This is kind of the, you don't get homes much over like that $3 million price point in these towns. This would be the higher end
Okay.
price point. This is in Summit. This is 6 beds, 5.5 baths. It's on an acre. It's an older house, 1933, that was renovated in 2014. It just had a great, really private backyard, hot tub, outdoor fireplace, flat yard, great kitchen, open up to the family room.
Really nice.
Yeah, and then just to give perspective, this house is probably just about 6,000 square feet.
Wow. So you do get a lot for your money out there.
Yeah. I mean, compared to some markets, you do. Yes. That's kind of you to say, Martin. I believe that to be the case as well.
Right. No, I totally get
Yeah, look
it.
at that yard. I mean, that's awesome, right? Nothing better than that.
Well, a whole acre out there. That's really
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. So that's all I have to show. I'll stop sharing. Is there anything
Yeah,
else?
no, I think that's great, Xander. That gives us a nice reference point of different things that you can get. And I think it's really an eye opener for the starter places that there's stuff that's out there well under $1 million for people to get things if they want to.
Oh, absolutely.
And what are people putting down? Are you seeing on this? Are they taking advantage of the rates? Or are they putting down more money, or what are you seeing?
Yeah, they're definitely taking advantage of the rates. I mean, 20%. 20% is the standard. You're seeing a lot of people now waive the appraisal.
Okay.
In the appraisal contingency, so they may have to put more than 20% down, and when that happens, you have to show proof of funds that you've got the funds to cover whatever that cost may be. But 20% down, definitely.
Okay, that makes sense.
Right.
Well, thanks a lot, Xander. Is there anything else you want to chime in before we kind of wrap up here?
No, you've done a good job as a host. 2 minutes early.
I know it goes by fast, but we covered a lot of ground. So once again, Xander Oldendorf with Compass out in Central Jersey. So thanks a lot, Xander. I really appreciate it. And thanks everybody for joining us on Ask the Expert series with the Martin Eiden team. Hold on for a second, Xander, when we're done.
Sure.
Thanks, Andrew.
Thank you, Martin. Thank you, Joe.